and welcome to this Project Estimator training video. This is going to walk us through the basic steps of how to open a guide, set your default guide, use the quick select guide pull down, and investigate some arith means, trades, IDIQ, and alternate guides. When we open E4Clicks Project Estimator, we open directly to the Projects window. In order to add line items from a pricing guide into our estimate, we need to open the project. We can double click, and then we need to open the estimate that we're looking for, so we could double click again, and we show up on the line items tab of the updating estimate window. Now, where do line items come from? Two places, really. One, we could make it up, totally customize it and make it up. The other way is to open up some kind of a pricing guide and use that pricing guide that someone else has created or we ourselves have created and find items from there. Alright, so if you had to guess, how do you think we'd open a guide? If in doubt, we're going to right click. Alright, so we've got two options to open a guide. This top option here says Open Guide. And if we remember from some of our previous videos, this one is probably reserved and is for our default guide. Alright, we also have the fourth option down here, which is Select Guide to Open, and that'll bring up our list of pricing guides again that we have. Alright, so I'm just going to choose Open Guide the first time. It'll open up to our pricing guide registry. And then after that, after we set a default, it'll open directly to that guide. So let's set a default. If we were going to guess how to set a default, how do you think we'd do that? If you right click, you are correct. So let's highlight the 2012 arith means facilities. Let's right click, and then we see Set as Default. We're going to get the little asterisk to the left of the guide. It's going to let us know that the 2012 arith means facilities is our default guide. Let's take a quick look at the bottom left here. We also see that we can have inactive guides, and we can look at all of our guides if we wanted to. I'm going to go back up to active here, and let's go open a different guide for now, and then we'll open our default in a minute. Alright? So if we double click, or click and choose select, or highlight and click on the select button, we can go ahead and open up whichever book that we have highlighted. So double click, and we can see that we're browsing the 2012 arith means assemblies. Alright, we'll talk about the difference between these in a second. So we can go over here, and we can choose the Close button over here to close our book down. That'll return us back to our Line Items tab on the Updating Estimate window. If we right-click again, now we can notice our first option has been changed to open the default guide, and it lists it there, 2012 arith means facilities. If we click on that, we'll go ahead and go directly to the Browsing 2012 arith means facilities window. Again, we can close this one down. And that's how we can use our two options here. Again, Select Guide to Open will always open this pricing guide registry window where we can choose which guide to open. Alright, let's learn another way how to open our guides. But before we do that, let's talk about our guides a little bit. So I'm going to do them at the same time. So see the Quick Select Guide up here at the top of our line item list? Here we have the pull down field so we can see our list of pricing guides. It'll look familiar to us when we saw all of our guides on the pricing guide registry window. Okay, so arith means is North America's leading producer provider of pricing guide data. Most of our line items will probably come from either their unit price or their assemblies guides. So the facilities guide, which we made our default, is probably the most common book. It's a unit price book that has I believe of 85,000 line items, and then we produce all of the modifiers for it, so our database actually has close to 300,000 line items. It integrates all their modifiers and stuff. We'll talk about that in a different video. We also could open the 2012 arith means Mass Composite, which is basically none of their smaller books. For instance, the full electrical book, the plumbing book, the HVAC book. It has all 9 of those books combined to one that we can look on electronically. And then assemblies, which we opened first, is actually a grouping of the unit prices into some kind of a system or assembly. So you could choose fire protection system assembly line item, and it would include the piping, the sprinkler itself, and various different other pieces of the entire system. Just helps us get to our estimate a little bit quicker. All right? We can also have an alternate guide. The alternate guide is basically your own customizable guide. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Painting IDIQ. We can see that we could have IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity type pricing guides, which are basically your custom prices from some of your different contracts. So we can get you out of spreadsheets and get you into an actual pricing guide that you can lock down and keep it contractual and do some really neat stuff with. We'll look at that in a second. And then RS Means Trades basically allows you to access direct labor from those RS Means facilities and type books like that. All right? So let's go ahead and look at the IDIQ book for a second. So let's highlight this. So basically from our list, highlight the pricing guide that we'd like to open, and then you see the little button to the right? It's the Open Guide to Currently Selected Guide button. If we click that, then it's going to go ahead and it's going to open up whatever guide that we have highlighted. In this case, it's Painting IDIQ. So our IDIQ guides are pretty awesome. We basically can incorporate your custom pricing that you have for your IDIQs directly into the software, and they'll be locked down to ensure contractual integrity. So we can definitely have some neat things here with this. We could do multiple years if you have a multiple year contract, and we can let you to reprice between years, which is pretty sweet. We can set up favorites and index, so you could set up your own search utilities basically, or you could use the query field, which is super powerful. All right? So let's close this for a second. We can also go back up to our Quick Select Guide, choose our alternate guide, and then we can click the little button to open it up. And this is basically your guide. You can put any number of line items that you'd like to into your guide here. You can even set them up by folders, and you can have, again, favorites, as well as an index where you can set those up, and you can choose to bring these in the different ways, whether they're priced or non-priced, or bear overhead and profit. So it's your own pricing guide. You can create your own line items and store them here. You can use them again and again as opposed to trying to find them from your last project or your last estimate. Perfect for vendor quotes, specific items you couldn't find in RS Means, square foot pricing, anything like that. And then you can organize them any way that you'd like. All right. Now, your price guides available to you may have looked differently from those that were here. These are some of the most common ones. There are some guides that you saw here that you would like. Give us a call. We can help that out. All right? So check out another video to see how to add line items from those guides into our estimate here. Please check our other training videos or give us a call if you need any help. Thanks so much and have a great day.